Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our panel on drones, lasers, and other technologies on the battlefield. We're honored to have a panel of experts who have practical experience in the development and employment of these technologies. I think you're all aware of the proliferation in Ukraine of unmanned systems in the air, on land, and on the sea, as well as the use of the electromagnetic spectrum in the use, and the employment, and the countering of these systems. So our experts here will address Ukraine's development and employment of these capabilities and their impact on how they've changed the character of warfare today. So let me first introduce our panel. First, I'd like to introduce Vadym Sukharevskyi, who's a colonel in the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Currently serves as the Deputy Commander of Operational Command East. Now that's a command that's overseeing about 200,000 Ukrainian troops today. He served in combat in Iraq in 2004 as a young soldier. He's also commanded troops in Ukraine's airborne forces in 2014 when he defended Ukraine against Russian proxy forces. And I think it's important to remind you all, this war did not start in February of 2022, okay? It started in February of 2014 when Putin illegally seized Crimea and then stoked violence in the Donbass region. He's commanded a Marine battalion. He's also commanded a mechanized brigade. And in 2022, he was designated a Hero of Ukraine. Hero of Ukraine is the highest honor that can be bestowed by the President on a military member. Vadym earned this distinction over several years of combat, beginning in 2014 when he fought against Russian proxy forces. In 2024, he was appointed as the first ever commander of Ukraine's new unmanned systems forces. Okay, and he was an early advocate of the use of unmanned systems and was instrumental in establishing this brand new branch of service in the Ukrainian Armed Forces and integrating it into Ukraine's force structure. And so his innovation, his mindset led to the rapid growth and adaptation of unmanned systems in the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Next panelist is Andrii Ryzhenko. If you attended the previous panel, Andrii was a speaker on that as well. Served over 35 years in the Ukrainian Navy. Served both at sea on 3 different surface warships, and then ashore at several different commands, both in the Ukrainian Navy and the NATO headquarters. He's instrumental in developing Ukraine's strategic documents, both at the national level and within the Ukrainian Navy. And he's been instrumental in the adaptation of the Ukrainian Navy and its movement towards NATO standards. After retirement, he's worked as a consultant and currently is a member or employee of the Sonata, helping to train Ukrainian forces in leadership and mission command. And our third panelist is head of research and development for a leading military technology company where he directs the engineering of advanced unmanned systems and electronic warfare solutions. He's a specialist in applied physics and holds a degree in nuclear physics from Taras Shevchenko National University in Kyiv. He initially specialized in civil and dual-use capabilities such as ground-penetrating radar and mine detection. And then since 2022, in the full-scale invasion, he specialized, or he's refocused in the defense sector, leading the transition toward military-grade research and development. His current capacity, he oversees the development of a broad portfolio of mission-based or mission-critical technologies, including drones, unmanned ground vehicles, and high-performance Internet Protocol radio systems. And his expertise also extends to electronic warfare. He currently directs the full R&D lifecycle, focusing on rapid development and deployment. And we've all seen how quickly the Ukrainian armed forces have adapt and develop and field capabilities. So you'll hear some of that today. All right, the format will be each of our panel members will get up and provide a presentation, and then we will have time for questions and answers. Okay, so Vadym, you are up.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I apologize for my English. I don't have practice. So if it's unclear something, please stop me and ask, okay? Today I try to tell you about the main work in my life is how and for what we build, first of all, technological, game-changing, organized, it's unmanned system forces of Ukraine. It's process with big troubles, with big problems, because if you know that army is institution what amazing used old system, yeah. But it's a very big problem when army begin use something new. And army system in Ukraine too is a big systematic problem for army. So we will try to speak about it. So before we begin, a few moments I show you a short video. I prepared this video for my President Zelensky, for military cabinet, when we began provide unmanned system and began provide new tactics. Inside the unmanned system forces in Ukraine, we began provide new brigade. It's unmanned system assault brigade. It's new tactics. What we had after a few years of intensive fight with Russian forces. Yeah, and one moment, after 6 months, when I built unmanned system forces in Ukraine, Russia copied my idea and built such forces in his army. But in 2025, we have more than 80,000 people in my forces. Russia today have more than 200,000 pilots, technicals, and other elements, yeah, in their unmanned systems forces. Yeah. It's very important process for all armies, for all countries, because all future wars, all future battle space, yeah, it's unmanned system. In the air, in the sea, in the ocean, on the land, maybe under land. So, video please. Titles here in Ukrainian, I will be trying to comment it. So, unmanned system assault brigade. Preparing for attack of enemy position. Organization of communication with forces in airspace. Recognize land and air. Complete steps. Going to first point and anti-mining roads for our assault boats. Fire support and destroy enemy's ammunition. mining logistic enemies road. Offensive. Fire support before attack. Robotic system. Land robotic system. It's robotic ambush. Yeah. Assault group. Cleaning of enemy position. Now preparing for enemy's counterattack. So, mining the logistic road. Robotic ambush. And fighting with enemy's reserves. It's real tactical, it's real video. It's a Ukrainian experience. So, let's begin. Speak about unmanned system and next generation weapon in your battle space for some asymmetric conflicts. Maybe you know map on the world, yeah, and you know how smaller is Russia, yeah, and how bigger is Ukraine, yeah, on this map. So you understood that we can't fighting like symmetric war, yeah. We must deployment and finding something asymmetric. And unmanned system, yeah, is first our step of that war when we began use FPV drones, what cost $400 and destroy techniques more than few millions dollars it cost. It's effective $1 for and on a battlefield, yes. It's 24 hours our guys thinking how better use $1 for more killed Russians. So, due to tremendous difference in military potential, such as mobilization resource level or economic and production capacities, we are not able to wage a symmetrical war. As the parties of conducting combat operation during a full-scale invasion has shown that the partners cannot provide the necessary amount of weapons to wage a symmetrical war. So, how we build our system? Yeah, it's strategic level. It's brigades, regiments of the unmanned system forces of Ukraine and special forces of Ukraine, where we're working front Russia, yeah, and destroy the economical potential. Yeah. Operative level, it's brigades, regiments, separate squadrons and battalions of the unmanned system forces who are working on a deep from 200 kilometers to maybe 1,100. Yeah, we call it middle strike. It's different tactics, it's different strategic, it's different drones. Tactical level, battalion, companies, platoons, it's part of the armed forces of Ukraine. It's brigade, yeah, mechanized, airborne, marines, navies, yeah, or all brigade now in Ukraine have one or more unmanned system battalions. Our tankists have unmanned system, have drones. Yeah? Our engineers have drones. Our logistic guys have drones. Yeah? Because drones is all war in this moment. Yeah? Because now it's that type of war when it's the main process is resources. Yeah? And drones is our resource. On a tactical level, enemy has a large number of armored material and outclasses us in personnel and artillery. We are compensating their advantage with the help of UAVs, Mavic type, FPVs and bombers, particularly in tailoring intelligence, adjustment of artillery fire and remote engagement. We also use unmanned ground vehicles to provide logistic, remote mining and exposing as a casualty evacuation platform. You saw it in the video, yeah? Operation level. On operational level, armed forces of Ukraine are striking enemy personnel concentration points, training facilities and logistic centers. The more strikes are launched to these levels, the weaker the tactical level. As air operation allows us to tailor intelligence, establish surveillance and facilitate enemy detection. Especially experience gained in Kursk operation has confirmed the effectiveness of unmanned system working in a close vicinity with high precision artillery. Such operation facilitate prevention of enemy concentration on the critical lines. Strategic, deep strike. Strategic installation, oil refinery stations and other linked to military industrial sector that are located on the depths up more than 1,700 kilometers on the territory of Russia. Those unmanned systems are applied at all levels. Effectiveness and actions take on a strategic level cues depletion of enemy operational abilities, replacement of warehouse and arsenals and other. Yeah, it's our asymmetric answer. Yeah, from Russia without love. Yeah. This process, yeah, is historical processes in my army, and such we decide to make unmanned systems forces in Ukraine like different command, like separate. Sorry. So. United Unmanned System Forces as a game changer. Here I show you structure of military forces of Ukraine. Yeah, you can see it's general staff, like main staff, yeah, land forces, air forces, air assault forces, it's airborne, yeah, special operation forces, yeah, and like separate forces in unmanned system. It's crazy process. Yeah, it's a historical step for all of the world. Yeah, because such technological step, I tell you that it's very hard process in the army, but we do it. Who we are? The Armed System Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine is a newly created branch of the Armed Forces of Ukraine that uses air, sea, surface, and underwater ground unmanned and robotic system in its combat operation at the tactical, operational, and strategic level. Unicovulus. The main idea unmanned system, it's save life. Yeah? We must use technologies for save our soldiers. Vision. Bilateral support for the jointly selected solution. Joint ventures or R&D stage, so innovation funds. A massive shelf supply of exciting solution. expertise, transfer of central technological solution, components, data links, LTD, and other. Unmanned system forces advantages. Bomber type UAVs as compensation of aircraft deficit, diversity of domestic unmanned system production, unique tactics, quick adaptation to change on the battlefield, R&D production, decentralization, battlefield digital transformation, Starlink technology, streaming platform, software solution. In our army, it was big trouble. It's communication with military, with civilian, no problem. And army system forces, it's that element what connect developers, volunteers, university, yeah, scientific, yeah, and we provide it inside to the army, this process. In this picture, you can see who give order for different tasks, different level, what we use. Commander-in-Chief, military forces, deep strike. Operational group, strategic or tactical, it's for middle strike. Yeah. Brigade, battalion, company, it's a tactical level, what they used every day, 24 hours for day on the front line. Yeah. And platoons, it's to tactical level, but it's they can use on the other side. Yeah, that not only like суцільна лінія. Yeah, complete line. They can use like a separate tactical element. And another. Goals and objectives. Developing the capabilities of the unmanned system forces. Managing the use of the unmanned system forces, planning, organization and controlling process. Monitoring to the readiness of units. Analysis and implementation of the experience is maybe main point. At this time, logistic planning is very important because such capabilities is about for all country, for president, for ministry of defense, for our partners, for United States, seems here, understood how it must cost, how many we need it, who we used it, and how we used it, and what effect on this money. Yeah? It's about $1 to 1 kill Russia. What died Russia? Soldier. Define capabilities of units operating unmanned aerial system. Ability to conduct, recognize, ability to strike enemy's target, ability to destroy, intercept enemies' unmanned system. It's two very important problem because I tell you about their forces, unmanned forces, yeah, and now we have counter-strike on the battlefield when our pilots try find enemy pilots and their pilots try fight us. Yeah, it's other word. Infantry working with infantry, yeah, pilots fighting with pilots. Ability to conduct logistic support of infantry units, ability to retransmit signals, ability to engage decoys and support a long-range strike mission, ability to conduct mining and demining activity. Here is statistic for 8 months working unmanned system forces on deep strike element and middle strike. You can see how a lot, how hard it's work. Yeah. You can see result effects. Yeah, it's not very good result, but it's this analysis give us understood what we must do better, yeah, on the future. In what way we must go, yeah, for better results. It's operative tactical level. It's results of one battalion, a special battalion Nemesis, is bombers what used Starlings for their working. They going 45 kilometers on enemy territories and drops 6 bombs in one time. Yeah, for different targets. You can see this result and economic effect. In one battalion, we have such battalion more than 100. Similar battalion. This is specific, but similar battalion is more than 100. Thank you.
Thank you, Vadym. Our next speaker will be Andrii Ryzhenko.
Good afternoon again. I would like to say a little bit about history of this unmanned system. It's not a very new idea. In 2014, when we need to leave Crimea and come back and come to Odessa, we start to design what is future of the Navy, what is strategy of the Navy, like a service. And we invited a group of smart people from US, UK, Sweden, Norway, and we understood that in a so confined maritime area like northwestern part of Black Sea, the most probably only way to succeed over the bigger enemy to build a Mosquito Fleet, small guys. And at least a certain portion of them should be unmanned, because it's cheaper, it can work 24/7, and we estimate our casualties, and with unmanned system you're simply not losing people, which is important for us. When the war started, actually in 2014, with the annexation of Crimea, we mostly we had an unmanned system from Soviet Union, old stuff. We had some commercial, but we started to build already using private industry in Ukraine. In fact, you know, for us, we are only 35 years old actually. I mean, in new history, Ukraine. And most of weapons before built in the state-owned enterprises, and for us was very new. But this period of time when private industry became building these drones very quickly, and it was Furia, this drone actually used for the reconnaissance, for the artillery. And this gave us certain advantage over the enemy. When started full-scale invasion, this development actually continued and scaled up significantly. It was created unmanned system as a separate branch of armed forces, and each unit in other services and branches also have unmanned system with different functions. But last 2 years we found out that Russians also developed unmanned drones, copying our experiences, and we understood that certain warfighting functions like logistic and force protection, evacuation of the personnel, only possible using ground-based drones. Yeah, because these classical military ambulances don't work actually more for the reason again of security. And also sometimes enemy using so many FPV drones and other type of, that only these unmanned guys can deliver food and ammunition to the units deployed to the front line. Yeah, it is quite new. You see, this service, this branch quite new, but we already developed a number of the doctrines in armed forces, and this is called the doctrine for armed forces of Ukraine, or for unmanned forces of Ukraine, and it has already, within 2 years, 3 editions. And now it's a clear defined that functions of the unmanned system forces, what they consist of brigades, centers, and each of the service like land forces, air force, naval forces, and independent branches. We have independent branches of air assault, territorial defense, special operation forces, and assault forces. They exist in outside of land. They also have its own unit, and each of them has a certain function. And here it's showing you what is primarily what kind of operations they can do. And Vadym already mentioned. I just would like to say we developed a certain degree synchronization of these activities, and it's very important because cases of blue on blue fire existing, and it's very important to make sure that one unit sending drone and another unit simply not intercepting it or not using electronic warfare. But we need to work more on integration of the forces during this operation, convergence and jointness. It's very hard because it's really a lot of drones currently using, thousands of them. But Ukrainian forces also progressing. Recently we created a system which online can show you what is the situation among front line with gliding bombs, Shahed drones, and it's using all radars, which installed thousands of radars installed among front line, and it's collected, fused, and demonstrated to commanders for decision. And it's really helping to realize these principles. Here I would like to mention about drone interceptors. It's very, very new. Before, sometimes we need to use very expensive and very good PAC-3 missile from Patriot to intercept even Shahed, which is from cost effectiveness extremely, I would say, not good idea. But we invented this interceptor. Interceptor has a weight of 4 kilograms. It's a small drone. It can act within a 5 kilometers height and 20 kilometers range. And this is primary targets for these drone interceptors. And you see this is whole line of possible air defense system, and this is interceptor drones. And they can intercept currently this reconnaissance, enemy UAVs, strike UAVs, and even aviation. And I served on a Kara-class cruiser in my Navy career. It's a big ship like Ticonderoga. And I shoot a missile, surface to air, and this missile was 1.8 tons. But characteristic capability was similar to this tiny little 4 kilogram drone interceptor. Just feel the difference, how technology changed in reality. Yeah, and actually it's much cheaper. Yeah, and this is really, and first time when we launched this interceptor was just March last year, and we already launching thousands of them. And I believe here it's a statistic for this year. From beginning of this year, you see it was intercepted more than 7,000. Currently, probably already more than 8,000 enemy targets, and you see what kind of targets, starting from the most, it's enemy drones, enemy manpads, and like a portable rocket system, and aviation, electronic warfare. But this is the total amount of targets. Again, 2 weeks ago. Now it's more. And this is what kind of drones we're using. The most effective, it's a Sting, it's Ukrainian drone. I was told that US Merops probably the most technologically advanced and very, very effective currently in war in Ukraine, and some others. But this is really very asymmetric and very cost-effective way to intercept enemy air threat. We are teaching all our guys for the unmanned system, for the services, for the branches in our training centers. You see, we can teach up to 50,000 people per year. Just to let you know that at least half of NATO countries located in Europe, they have a much less total number of the armed forces. And we are speaking just here about just drone operators. And this is different training centers which armed forces of Ukraine use, and unmanned system has its own training center, 190, which is located in city of Zhytomyr. And we actually, Sonata UFF, we are teaching, we are using many of these facilities to teach MDMP, TOP, and OPP in the future. It's also interesting statistic how many people, how operators in orange trained in air unmanned system in the military, and in green it's a civilian sector, industry. You see military making the most of the trained operators, particularly for the air drones, and the same situation for ground drones. Here is a very unique picture last week from Magura boat, Magura maritime drone. First time was launched a drone interceptor, and Shahid was shut down on the way to Odessa. For us, it's really important because before we were using an air defense system based on the shore, and you know, Shahid is 250 kilograms, which is probably almost 800 pounds. If this stuff actually fall down, it will make kinetic damage. And we tried a little bit to move our air defense capability to the sea and intercept them, to fall down to the sea and sunk. And it was first time and successful. In fact, we trained this unit just 2 months ago in MDMP, military decision-making process. I would like to make some analogy with the Strait of Hormuz, because now you see this is a real example of asymmetric impact on situation. US Navy did a very great job first 48 hours, destroyed most of enemy targets, but actually Iranians start to use this means which is very hard to identify. However, they're making threat to the shipping. It's sea mines, it's maritime drones, and it's air drones. And there's a lot of analogies to Ukraine. This is a situation in Ukraine at sea now. You see, this is port of Odessa, and we have a navigation now to the Bosporus, and it's important for economy. Russians continue to attack us with missiles from Crimea, from Novorossiysk. They're using Shaheds, they're using ballistic missiles, and this is the biggest threat. We use maritime drones very extensively, and we block them in Sevastopol and in Novorossiysk. Russian fleets still have an advantage in a combat ratio 4-to-1 to us. However, they are not using these ships. They're afraid to come outside of base. It's paradox, but it is. Welcome to the drone era. They try to copy our experience, but thanks to me, Mr. Musk actually, he shut down Starlink, and they forget about this opportunity because simply they cannot command and control over these drones. From Sevastopol to Odessa, only 150 nautical miles, not far away. You don't need big ships. Most of the operations can be conducted by small vessels, Mosquito Fleet boat, and unmanned system, which is identical in size. I would say if war over now, and this is the front line, the future of Ukraine, unless we can get back the Crimea Peninsula, will be purely unmanned, or mostly unmanned. This is a shallow area, and there's a lot of mines now here. And we don't need mine countermeasures vessels, because we can use it's 100 nautical miles only, we can use robots. And they're available on market already at least 15 years. They cost 5 to 10% of price of mine countermeasures, and you don't have 30 people aboard. You see, it's very easy target. And in NATO, I served in NATO for years. I remember for NATO, it's a concern how to protect, to secure mine countermeasures. Now many people asking me, should we send our 5 minesweepers located in UK to Strait of Hormuz? I said no, because we don't have experience. Secondly, yeah, it's issue of logistics, but I believe it's manageable. The biggest concern, Iranians will destroy it. They'll destroy it, and because it's easy target, and they have capability. What I would do, I would deploy dozens of these unmanned boats, 10-12 meters length, which can do absolutely the same as a mine countermeasures vessels. And they can work 24/7 without people, and with a depth of less than 200 meters, they can clean Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, for Ukraine also, in order to implement sea control and sea denial operation, I would say we don't need anything greater than 40 meters in length. Yeah, because Russians simply can identify and destroy them. They have a lot of stuff in Crimea Peninsula. And currently time of the flight between their control territories to our ports, it's seconds or minutes. Seconds and minutes. And we simply will not be able to activate our air defense system. Yeah, and I would say, and it's really a lot of similarity. I would say probably Iranians have more capability with maritime drones and sea mines, and Russians here providing more threats to us, speaking about air threat. It's ballistic missile, cruise missile, and drone, it's Shahed drones, but a lot of similarity. Russians copied our experience, and they develop maybe Rubicon detachments. They have a land units and maritime units, and what they're doing now, they're intercepting our maritime drones coming from Odessa area toward Crimea, and they also try to do attack of using their maritime drone, but very, very limited. And we recently trained also in MDMP unit, Ukrainian unit, which actually contradicting to them. Yeah, but it's very interesting era now. And in fact, this unit launched this first drone interceptor and shut down Shahed, which I showed you just before. It actually concludes my presentation. I would like to say that drones really changing environment, military environment now, but we should not be overexcited of them, because they also have weak points, and weather is one of them. If we have a snow, rain, or strong wind, we can forget about this, and you also should have a plan B, what to do. But now we should use this opportunity and develop this case. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Andrii. And last and certainly not least.
So, I will not talk about Shahed drones today. I want to focus my speech on way smaller, but in many ways more dangerous threat for the front line. It is FPV drones. They're cheap, easy to use, easy to build. Google some information and buy some parts, you have your own. But I'm not encouraging you to do this, please don't. So, why FPV drones is so dangerous? At first, they're easy to deploy. You don't need any specific hardware. Everything could be bring by one human, by one person. You plug battery, you're ready to go. Second, but not least, FPV drones could fly to very long distances. Typical FPV drones is 10-15 kilometers. You put a translation system near, you reach 40 kilometers. You put Starlink on it, you reach probably infinite. Also, a small cross-section make them very hard to detect for classical radar system, and cost efficiency make quantity over quality supreme approach. Existing defense systems are not designed to mitigate threats like this, and even if they can lock and destroy it, cost of fire will more exceed the cost of FPV drone itself. Also, I want to mention amount of FPV drones on the front line. Ukraine, for the last year, used more than 3 million FPV drones, only from Ukrainian side, not counting Russia. And also, way more popular on the front line right now become FPV carrier drones. So you see this plane with the 2 FPV attached behind. They make FPV even more dangerous because you economize your battery, you can reach farther away, and this threat is imminent. So also, all over the globe, appearing new and new FPV cases. Around the Europe, near airports, FPV suspend the flights for days and to make the threat for the aircrafts on the landing pads, just by appearing, make loss of the money for the airports and for the countries. Also, I want to mention Ukrainian Operation Spiderweb. In Russia was deployed more than 100 FPVs in 4 regions. At the same time, synchronous attack on the airfields bring more than 40 aircrafts destroyed with a cost of $2 billion with really moderated operation prices. And recent appearing of FPV drones in Iran against USA bases is disturbing call that FPV is new weapon and not something from the farther future. And also just today morning I seen the video how FPV drones strike Israeli Merkava tanks. So they already use all over the world in every war possible. So what we can do this? My company develop a line of products that can mitigate threat, detect and destroy it. First of all, this is our products. First of all, you need to know about FPV drones as much as possible. Our system make able to know the spectrum pattern of the FPV drones, know precise frequency of FPV drones operates on, and also capture video from it. If you was on the dinner 2 days ago, you could see the small demonstration how 2 systems was capturing FPV drones videos. Right now on the front line we have more than 1,000. Also, when you see the enemy video, you could compare it with the map, and from this you can trace where the drone flying and where launching point. So when you know where is launching point, you can strike enemy directly. After this, when you know the frequencies, you can jam it. We have 3 systems. It's basically the same system, but in 3 ways: ground one, drone one, and mobile one. With the directional antennas, you can efficiently work against retranslation system from the ground. From the sky, you can work for the landing pads, and for the mobile, you put omnidirectional antennas and you protect it from all sides. Basically, when you emit jamming, enemy pilot lose their sight. He becomes blind, and after 20-40 seconds, he eventually loses control as well. But that's not all what we can do. We have a series of the drones itself. The most fascinating drones is kinetic interceptor. So it's 13-inch double-barrel shotgun, 10 gauge, with tungsten payload, what capable to lock enemy FPV drones coming closer and destroy it by shot. And after this, it returns to landing pad. You just need to reload the shotguns. And all this is able because of infrastructural drones, big one, 22 inches drone. You see on the bottom part there is 2 drones attached beyond, so it could operate like a carrier. Antennas on the top could work like a jamming system from the sky, how can work like a retranslation system for enhancing distance of the drones, and can work like IP radio system to gather information very easily. So, rapid evolution of FPV drones create big vulnerability in modern defensive system. They are overwhelmed by the scale, agility and cost effectiveness of FPV drones. What we do is trying to eliminate gap and provide both soft kill and hard kill solution for the front line to mitigate FPV drone threats. Such success of defensive system like this depends on rapid integration of multi-scale multi-system complex solutions, and about speed of evolution these things, because I wanna point that it's not about system we personally do, but it's about idea. You cannot have all-rounded one solution that perfect in all cases. You need a lot of smaller ones what will be work together, and you cannot just stand in the place, because all time war is evolving and you need to evolve with this. So thank you a lot. I'm ready to answer your questions.
All right, thank you, Oleh, and thank you to all our panel members for their insights and information. All right, let's move now to questions directly. So if you have a question, please come to the mic in the center aisle and address them.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for that presentation, and obviously many of us are capturing now the importance and the rapid expansion of drone warfare, not just drones, but the entire spectrum of UAV, and your presentations were simply outstanding, so thank you. I wanted to ask you with regards to command and control and manning, training, and equipping of the new Ukrainian UAV force. So my question is, do you train the UAV operators and disperse them to the other services, or do the services send those to your command and control places for training, manning, and equipping, and then send them back? So is it homegrown and then they detach them out? Or are they sending the manpower and the equipment and whatnot to the training centers? This is something that I think the Department of Defense, certainly within my organization, struggles with the idea. Do we train the soldier to become the operator technician, or do we train the technician to be more soldier-like? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, sir. Listen in, yeah?
Yeah.
About preparing and training. All units in military forces Ukraine, land forces, airborne, marines, navies, air forces have their own training centers when we preparing tactical specialists or vector specialists. Yeah? In Unmanned System Forces we have central international preparing center, is 190. What preparing specialists, not only tactical level, it's like FPV, MAVICs, yeah, is specialized. It's mother drones, yeah, it's communication drones, it's laser correct for artillery drones, it's engineering guys who are preparing bombs for dropping for different planes and other elements, yeah. It's more than 40 different specialists in this system, and we train it in all territory of Ukraine, like show Andrii, yes, and it's not all. We have more than 90 civilian school. It's a civilian project what used in all territory of Ukraine, and they preparing civilians in school. They have competition different on a drone line for because we must build this ecology, yeah, and they can preparing our soldiers. Yeah, our commanders have a chance to send their soldiers in that center, not far from his brigade or his battalion. It's normal process for us.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
First off, I saw on Facebook just the other day one of your drones shooting down a Russian UAV with a shotgun, put the pipper on the brain, and down it went. Very impressive. My question is this: drone swarms controlled by AI, what defensive measures do you think will have to be developed to counter that threat?
I think there is a lot of marketing stuff around talking about drone swarms by AI. There is not real solution right now on the front line, because mostly a bottleneck is the communication channels. You not always can establish quality communication channels because it's easy to jam. approximately easy to jam, let's say this, and very expensive could be to establish. So you can lose a lot of drones with very expensive technology. But even in this case, you not always need a lot of drones to strike the target. Probably Vadym will answer better, but from my side, you don't need a lot of drones. Same time striking the target, you just need one, what will precisely took it out of the equation.
About AI, it's very interesting question, sir, because let's try to speak about it like Ukrainian is democratic republic, yeah? We is white side, yeah, of this world. Russia, China, yeah, it's black side. Use AI in unmanned system, first of all, it's a big question for doctrinal elements, yeah, and the main question for all of us, who must decide who killed people, yeah?
So you're talking about the kill chain?
For us, it's not AI,
Right.
yeah, but for they try do such system, build such system, and it's like in movies, yeah, and fantastic, yeah. They try do things, but we working another, yeah. Always we can use AI, for example, for reconnaissance or for build tactical echelons of drones, yeah. But always, yeah, decide kill, yeah, or no kill. It's our operator. It's people. It's human. Yeah, it's first type. In deep strike and middle strike, yeah, we used AI for destroying and розпізнавання. Identification. Landing object like oil manufacturers, yes, objects of this oil. This here work unmanned AI, yeah. He knows that it's oil fabric and our plane going in this point. It's for example. Next time it's our maritime unmanned system. For example, we have system where our maritime drone, yeah, with AI can understood where enemy ships used aerosol screen, yeah, where light заслепляє, block our system, yeah, and AI help us in such drones, yeah, and it's great work for all of us. Next moment, it's our soft, where we analyzed and we used our mathematics for all process. It's AI too. When we analyzed enemies connection, yeah, переговоры, да? Communication information. It's to AI. We just tell him what's the main word we need, and he give us, because you must understand, for one brigade now in radio electronic reconnaissance listen more than 200 channels, yeah, in every day. There are more than 10,000 messages in one day, and here working AI, yeah, it's such process.
Okay, thank you. Good question. All right, next, please.
For the last 15 years, we've watched a shadow war become a proxy war, become a weapons lab. And for those of us in the space, this is really interesting to see how Ukraine is winning on creating affordable mass, winning economically. So my question is around, you guys are achieving autonomous mobility at a massive scale. I saw last week a group of Russian soldiers surrendered to just the robots. Fantastic win. So now that autonomous mobility in the sky and the land is achieved, how are you working to create autonomous cognition? That drones are talking to other drones for IFF, command and control. not automating, but accelerating kill chain by having different classes of drones talk to each other and automating that decision-making space out in the field. And if there's extra time, I'm curious about how you're putting quantum sensing on drone platforms. Thanks.
Thank you for the question. It's a good question. As Vadym already mentioned, we cannot accept that AI simultaneously will accept the decision about strike. It always needs to be operator, because in one day it will kill your soldiers, in another day it can kill civilians, and it's not good at all. And about establishing a system like this, in radio electronics way, spectrum on the front line very polluted. You have everywhere the frequencies, something emitting, some communication channels, some jamming channels, some video channels, a lot of stuff. And in this environment, it's very hard to work for communication on the ground level, even between drones themselves. So right now, there is no capable technology what will make able such a decision inception in a good way. Mostly for operation like this, for the ground drones using Starlink, because when you use other IP radio communication type, you cannot exceed range of 3 kilometers from ground to ground. You always need retranslation system in the air or something more capable.
Thank you. I'll talk with you offline, like Laura Ware for Range Optical Communication. We'll chat after this. Sure.
Okay, this will have to be the last question, folks. I apologize, but let me just state that our panel members will be here afterwards. They're more than happy to engage in one-on-one offline. Okay, sir, please.
Yeah, thanks again, and thanks to the Collins Foundation for putting this together. My question is really simple. With the development of the separate unmanned division within Ukrainian forces, what percentage of them? What percentage of that is representative of the whole armed forces, and what's the impact on the casualty rate? Like, is there a ratio where drones are responsible for a higher percentage of casualties?
What percent personnel or drones, you mean?
Yeah, no, drones. Like, what's the casualty percentage of drones in the overall war compared to the general? Like, World War II submarines were 2% of the armed forces of the Navy, responsible for like 40% of casualties for shipping.
The percentage of Russian casualties.
Yeah, I was just trying to get at, is creating a standalone organization lead to higher percentage of effectiveness in the field?
Okay, I try to answer. Probably now Ukrainian military forces is more than 1 million people. Yeah. Unmanned system forces is like a separate. It's on this moment it's more than 24,000. Yeah, it's like forces. Yeah, it's soldiers. But in all brigade, in all forces, we have more than 20% pilots. Yeah, and unmanned system in their command. It's you remember that picture where I show you airborne, land forces. Yeah, all of them have their own pilots. It's 20% of the total amount. Yeah, such. About the casualties. Okay, last month when I working on Donetsk region, yeah. In one brigade, in one day, enemy injured from 1 to 6 our pilots. Yeah, so every second or third day, our pilots have died, guys. Yeah, on the front line. It's not big person for that, but if we speak about how many enemy soldiers destroy yeah, our pilots, so you must understand that for one brigade on the front line, in one line I have more than 40 brigades. Yeah, one brigade destroyed for 24 hours for 1 day of battle, probably 200 soldiers of enemy in one brigade. It's different types. Sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 300. Sometimes when it's a very hot point on the front line, Unmanned System Assault Brigade was in such a hot point, and one day and one night it was more than 900 soldiers, because in that time enemy assault group, this was 3 brigade in one brigade, in 1 hour brigade. Yeah, when we work intensive in such ones. Clear? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, thank you to our panel. And again, nobody available to discuss further questions. Okay, we'll take about a 5-minute break before our next panel.